His Last Beau, 1917, Episode 3, The Bruce-Partington Plans. Welcome back, fellow detectives. After Holmes saved innocent lovers from the Red Circle's vengeance, you've seen how international intrigue reaches into London's streets. Today's case elevates the stakes to national security and international espionage. Have you ever wondered what happens when state secrets fall into wrong hands? Prepare for one of Holmes's most politically sensitive cases, where a young man's mysterious death connects to stolen submarine plans, foreign spies, and conspiracy reaching the highest government levels. Picture 221B Baker Street on a foggy November morning. In 1895, Holmes is restless when suddenly his brother Mycroft appears, an event so rare that Watson gasps in surprise. "Mycroft, you've left your Diogenes Club? This must be extraordinarily serious." Mycroft's face is grave. "Sherlock, I need your help with extreme national importance. The Bruce-Partington submarine plans have been stolen, and a young clerk from Woolwich Arsenal was found dead under mysterious circumstances. The Prime Minister himself asked me to engage your services. Here's what you need to understand. Mycroft occupies a unique position in British government, no official title, yet he serves as a central clearinghouse for information from every department, occasionally is the British government in his peculiar way. The Bruce-Partington submarine represents Britain's most advanced naval technology," Mycroft explains. "Revolutionary design giving us overwhelming undersea warfare superiority. Plans kept at Woolwich Arsenal under strictest security yesterday. 7 of 10 pages went missing. This morning, junior clerk Arthur Cadogan West was found dead on underground tracks near Aldgate with 3 stolen pages in his pocket." Holmes leans forward. 3 of 7 pages? What about the other 4? Mycroft's expression darkens. "Still missing. If those plans reach a foreign power, Germany, France, Russia, they could build matching submarines within 2 years. Britain's naval supremacy would be compromised. Think about implications. In 1895, Britain ruled the waves. Submarine technology threatened to revolutionize warfare. Whoever mastered it first would gain enormous military advantage. The stolen plans represent potential shifts in global power. Tell me about Arthur Cadogan West," Holmes requests. Mycroft consults notes. 27, engaged to be married, exemplary record, no debts, no suspicious connections, worked in Foreign Office at Woolwich, but had no authorized access to Bruce-Partington plans. He couldn't have stolen them through legitimate channels. Watson asks, if he had no authorized access, how did he get the plans and why was he found dead with only 3 pages? Holmes's eyes gleam. Excellent questions. The answers will reveal not just how West died, but who else is involved. Because West did not act alone, Mycroft provides more details. West left work at Woolwich at 5:30 p.m. Monday. His fiancée, Miss Violet Westbury, was waiting at Woolwich Station. They were supposed to attend theatre, but West never arrived. He was next seen 12 hours later, dead on underground tracks at Aldgate, miles from Woolwich, opposite direction from his home. The body was discovered during early morning track maintenance. He'd suffered fractured skull and injuries consistent with falling onto tracks from a moving train. But here's what's peculiar. No ticket in his pockets. How did he board the underground without a ticket? Holmes stands pacing. The missing ticket is significant. Either it was removed after death, or West never had one because he never legally boarded, but he ended up on tracks nonetheless. Watson suggests, perhaps he jumped onto a moving train or was thrown? Holmes nods. Precisely the question we must answer. They visit the scene at Aldgate Station. Holmes examines the track section where West's body was found. Note the location, not at a platform but between stations. Train would have been moving at considerable speed. If West fell from a train, it was while in motion through the tunnel. But Watson observed these marks on the gravel. These aren't from train wheels. They're from something being dragged. West's body wasn't here originally. It was placed here, arranged to look like he fell from a passing train. The injuries came first, probably miles away. The body was transported here afterward. Think what this means. West didn't die on the underground at all. He was killed elsewhere and his body placed on tracks to make death appear accidental. But who moved the body and why such elaborate staging? They visit Miss Violet Westbury, West's devastated fiancée. Mr. Holmes, Arthur would never betray his country. Never. He was patriotic, honorable. Whatever happened, there must be explanation. Holmes asks gently, "Tell me about Monday evening, every detail." "I was waiting at Woolwich Station at 6 p.m. as planned. Arthur's colleague, Mr. Sidney Johnson, arrived. Said Arthur left work on time but hadn't been feeling well. Mr. Johnson thought perhaps Arthur went home instead," she continues. "But when I went to Arthur's lodgings, his landlady said he never came home. I waited until midnight, then contacted police. Next morning they told me." Her voice breaks. Holmes asks about West's recent behavior. "Did he mention anything unusual? New friends? Concerns?" Violet thinks. "About 2 weeks ago, he seemed preoccupied. He mentioned someone at Arsenal had been asking questions about security procedures. Innocent questions, but they bothered Arthur. He said something about curious timing, but wouldn't explain. Here's a crucial clue. West noticed something suspicious about security questions asked around when plans were eventually stolen. He may have suspected a breach, but didn't know how to report it. Without sounding paranoid, his preoccupation suggests danger was approaching." Holmes interviews Sidney Johnson, West's colleague. Johnson is nervous, clearly uncomfortable discussing classified matters. West was a good chap, dedicated, never late, never shirked duties. I can't believe he'd steal anything. "You told Miss Westbury that West left feeling unwell," Holmes notes. Johnson hesitates. "Not exactly ill, but distracted. Around 5:15, he suddenly said he felt dizzy and needed to leave early. I offered to walk him, but he insisted he'd be fine. That was the last time I saw him alive." Holmes presses. "These security questions Miss Westbury mentioned, what were they about?" Johnson looks uncomfortable. "There was a new technical advisor at Arsenal, Mr. Hugo Oberstein, foreign fellow, claimed to be Swiss but spoke with German accent. He asked detailed questions about how plans were stored, who had access, security protocols, said he needed to understand procedures to advise on improvements. Can you see the setup? A foreign advisor systematically mapping security procedures, asking questions that would help someone plan a theft. West noticed and became suspicious, but couldn't easily challenge a technical advisor without proof. Holmes visits Woolwich Arsenal, where Mycroft has arranged access to the vault. The security is impressive. Thick steel doors, combination locks, guards at every checkpoint. How could anyone unauthorized get past all this? Watson wonders. Holmes examines the vault. They couldn't, which means the thief either had authorization or had help from someone who did. The three men authorized to access plans are Sir James Warder, Arsenal head, unimpeachable reputation, 40 years service, Colonel Valentine Walter, his brother and assistant, also highly regarded, and Sidney Johnson, senior technical clerk. One of these three is a traitor, Holmes concludes, or victims of clever frame. Mycroft adds, Sir James died of heart attack yesterday when he learned plans were missing. The shock killed him. If he was the traitor, he paid the ultimate price. If innocent, his death is another tragedy. Holmes is skeptical. Convenient timing for a heart attack. I'd like to examine the body and his home. At Sir James's residence, Holmes makes a discovery. Hidden in the study, not well hidden, almost meant to be found, is a bank deposit slip showing large sums recently deposited from untraceable sources. Too obvious, Holmes mutters. Sir James was framed. Someone wanted us to think he was the traitor. But in the back garden, Holmes finds something genuinely revealing. Fresh earth disturbance near the wall separating Sir James's property from the house behind. Someone climbed this wall recently, within days. Look at scuff marks on stone, broken twigs on branches. Someone used this route to enter or exit Sir James's property secretly. Holmes investigates the property behind and discovers it was recently rented to Mr. Hugo Oberstein, the same Swiss technical advisor, asking suspicious questions at Arsenal. The plot thickens, Holmes remarks. Oberstein rents a house directly behind Arsenal's head, then appears asking detailed security questions. This was meticulously planned, but Oberstein has fled London. His house stands empty, clearly abandoned in haste. Holmes examines it thoroughly. A hidden safe, now empty, traces of blood on the windowsill, and most tellingly, fresh scratches on the flat roof, accessible from an upstairs window. Watson, look at this roof. What do you see? Watson examines scratches. These look like they were made by shoes scraping, as if someone was dragged across. Holmes nods grimly. Exactly, West was killed here, on this roof, then his body transported elsewhere. Think about geography. Oberstein's rented house backs onto Sir James's property, where plans were kept in a home safe as backup. Oberstein could have climbed the wall, broken into Sir James's study, stolen plans, and returned the same way. But why kill West? How does West connect? Holmes pieces together the sequence. West somehow learned about the theft. Perhaps he saw something or his suspicions crystallized. He followed Oberstein to this house, climbed to the roof, attempting to spy or confront him. Oberstein realized he was being watched and struck West. See this blood stain on the roof's edge. West fell, hit his head, died instantly, or was knocked unconscious. Oberstein panicked. He had a body, a witness who could expose him. He needed to dispose of the corpse in a way that wouldn't point back to this house, so he conceived a plan, place the body on underground tracks where it would be found, but attributed to accident. Watson objects. But how did he get the body onto tracks? He couldn't just carry a corpse through the underground. Holmes's smile is triumphant. He didn't carry it through the system. Look at the map. The underground line runs directly beneath this street. There's a maintenance access point 3 houses down. Oberstein used that access, carried the body through the service tunnel, and placed it on tracks. But here's the clever part. Oberstein placed 3 stolen pages in West's pocket to frame him as the thief. If West was the thief who died fleeing with stolen goods, no one would look for a second conspirator. Except Oberstein made one crucial mistake. He only put 3 pages in West's pocket. If West was genuinely the thief, he'd have all 7 stolen pages. Mycroft asks urgently, "Can you find Oberstein and recover plans before he sells them?" Holmes considers. Oberstein has fled, probably England entirely, but he still needs to sell plans to justify risks taken. We need to anticipate his next move. Using Mycroft's resources and Holmes's network, they identify likely contact. The German embassy in Paris, where a commercial attaché named von Bork handles intelligence under diplomatic cover. Oberstein will attempt contact within the week, Holmes predicts. He needs to sell quickly before Britain discovers plans are compromised. Holmes sends telegrams to his European agents. Within 2 days, reports come back. Oberstein was spotted in Dover, attempting to book passage to Calais under a false name, traveling with a locked leather case. The plans are, in that case, Mycroft states. Holmes shakes his head. Too late for interception. He's in France by now, but we can use this to our advantage. Holmes receives confirmation. Oberstein has arranged a meeting with von Bork's representative in Paris in 3 days. Mycroft contact the French government, request their cooperation in arresting Oberstein at that meeting. Von Bork has diplomatic immunity, but Oberstein doesn't. 3 days later, Mycroft receives a telegram. Oberstein arrested at Hotel Crillon with stolen plans. German attaché von Bork claims no knowledge, invokes diplomatic immunity. French authorities holding Oberstein pending extradition. All 7 pages recovered intact. The case concludes at 221B Baker Street. Mycroft brings news. The Prime Minister wishes to thank you personally. He's suggested a knighthood might be in order. Holmes waves dismissively. Unnecessary. I serve Britain, not politicians. The satisfaction of recovering plans is sufficient reward. But Mycroft insists. There's more. The government wishes to recognize your service. Holmes actually laughs. Sir Sherlock Holmes? Absolutely not. I'm a consulting detective, not a courtier. If the government wishes thanks, ensure Arthur Cadogan West's name is cleared publicly. He was no traitor. He was a patriot who died trying to expose the real thief. Watson is moved. You're refusing a knighthood to restore a dead man's reputation. Holmes's response reveals his character. West died trying to do right. He paid with his life, and his fiancée suffered not just his loss, but the stain on his name. If I cannot give Miss Westbury her Arthur back, I can at least return his honor. The government agrees, and newspapers publish the truth. Arthur Cadogan West was a hero who died attempting to prevent theft of state secrets. Miss Violet Westbury receives a pension from a grateful nation and knowledge that her fiancé was everything she believed. The case also exposes Colonel Valentine Walter as Oberstein's accomplice. Valentine had gambling debts and sold access to plans from his brother's safe. When Sir James died of shock, Valentine's guilt became unbearable and he confessed everything. He faces trial for treason. It's messy business, Holmes reflects. Sir James was innocent but died of broken heart. His brother was guilty but showed remorse. West was hero but died in obscurity temporarily. Oberstein is true villain but will likely exchange secrets for reduced sentence. Watson offers perspective. The plans were recovered. Britain's naval supremacy is preserved. A spy ring exposed. A young man's reputation restored. It's not perfect justice, but better than if you'd never taken the case. The Bruce-Partington plans are modified, ensuring that even if copies exist somewhere, they're now obsolete. The submarine design remains Britain's secret for several more years. In the great game of international espionage, Britain has won this round. Holmes stands at his window. Other spies will come. Other secrets will be stolen. Oberstein's capture won't stop Germany or France or Russia from seeking our advantages. This is endless war fought in shadows where victories are temporary and vigilance must be permanent. Join me next time as we investigate The Dying Detective, where Holmes appears to contract a deadly tropical disease and Watson must watch helplessly as his friend apparently approaches death. But is everything as it seems, or is Holmes conducting his most dangerous performance ever? Note: the Bruce-Partington Plans reflects real concerns of the early submarine era. Nations raced to develop submarine technology, and industrial espionage was rampant. The case highlights the role of cipher clerks and technical staff who, while not glamorous, held access to secrets that could change military power balance.